Let Rubio's bass call them in like children in recess, like straying geese to the gaggle, like a mama after one thump on forehead. How rain bruises the face into an emotion to warn, to fight, to embrace. A rim shot shocks in blending bass blesses. How the electricity in the blood will shower all appendages like broken glass. A week before MJ centripetal force sucked in my disbelief, or tornado couldn't spin no more, I thought, what if I lost you? You've been my life's soundtrack. From mama's pestilence, the tenement to suburbs, my guts snagged on melodious fence from a very gaudy rhythm nation. How MJ's leaving spilled all across the galaxy, red liquid reaching for my feet, the dead who didn't make it, that body-logged Atlantic, off shores. The slap I take, but packed explosives perjure. How anchors, abusive words knocked me into limbos. The flaw I felt for shutting Stevie's eyes too early put MJ's voice in a box. How days dream, seep out the sides, powerless to hold in all the lovely. My brain clicked through all its channels for the muscled soundtracks of Motown to bellow down my hallway. Now, your organ and harmonica and vision can burn my head from inside a thought. I can taste my brain smoldering. It smelled like my Granny Castle's country breakfast, wanting to stuff every morsel inside me. This is where I wanted to stay, in her kitchen of warm, that cozy of all moments, tumbling round inside Sunday lights. I felt what I don't know how to scripture. So my granny hums sweet sour requiems. From the alpha, it's been a spectrum of in the moments. You clapping me into baptismal water on 2 and 4. 88s. Think Jelly Roll jigging Chi-Town bones. Think Lil Hardin Armstrong busting up testosterone bullying beats. Think Ellington hearing Ella smile. Think Little Richard screaming like Fred's Aunt Hester. Think Fats Domino, Ruth Thick Boogie Woogie piano blues. Think Brother Ray kicking up his legs like he's shaking off that damn Zeus. Think Monk, put top teeth on bottom lip, friction. Think Twinkie, passing round the girl power of God beats. Think Billy Preston, whistling marigolds between Soul Gap and his front 2 teeth. Think Herbie Hancock, leaving his mind prints on a Miles Davis plate of pork chops. Now you, nappy-head Michigan boy, full and puffing chest, practicing, playing, then more practicing, like some clairvoyant astrologer of splotches for the page, but more splotches from night of dreams where you a future, a neo, a holy matrix, where God breathed on you, a currency enough to live for a city. You scat and moans how God is soul, how God camel walks when revelers start to clap. So you the fool clapping, and we a foolish flock, a waterfall of slapping stones, the steel strings and the sounding board. The piano talks to you, and in a current of yeah, 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 you sweet talk back. This next one's called Put Some Stank on It.
Put some stank on it.
Put some stank on it. But Brian Nellam's trio. Brian's face breaks into horrific smiles that talk to us about the traffic he's playing in, how the ball he's after is his favorite. The bouncing of the ball is replicated by bass player about to launch out his seat. He is riding a ball like a hippity hop, and lead guitar man got E string connecting to the ball. Brian hits at it. Bass player bounces on it. The lead guitar man pulling it around the room, the world, the galaxy. The vibration from the floor spills into all of us like lemonade out of clear canter, where lemons are so big and yellow and full of sour, mixing with sweet, cool water and ice. The frigidness of the cool on the soul spewed off a heat primal and true and so hard we clap out the fireflies of flame. This movement of rhythmic, artistic booms lights the phosphorescence in us. The sweat on the side of the canter is the sweat on the sides of our faces. Brian placed a stick and right hand on his head. This means on the next round, a change gonna come. The lead guitar man looks at the bass player, and together the three tributaries flow into one room, one song, one harmony, bleeding together instruments, audience, and band like blood brothers grimacing, with a sting on their faces, with a pocket knife burning in hot burgundy of cut time. If it's magic, we want to cuddle the sparrow, fold in the slight wings, ruffle the squirrel's tail, not so much as hold them hostage, but to own how existence pumps in our hands, that orgasm of our curiosity, handled. To not be God is the real love. To live with unattainable curiosity at our throats, to let what's beautiful home its born beauty. Some of the titles in here are titles to Stevie's song. So that's what that one is too. This one's called Soul Angelica. We know that the slave used music to mend a broken soul. We know many Jews use melody to escape into their minds by playing for their captors. We know chain gangs blend cadences, and the armed forces blend cadences, and the Protestants blended psalms, and the psalms flecked off into the streets, and then the streets reciprocated back into the church, and somehow the piano and the drums were moved to an organ, and the organ harmonized with the phonetics of the choir, and the choir blessed the masses, and the masses took each blessing and passed it on to a person passing them by, and those who went to church and those who slept outside of church got to playing in a jam session. And this junkyard band with their spoons and grates and jugs and pots and pans were heard by the Almighty on high, and this was the bestest church jam he had ever heard. So he brought Gabriel and the harmonics and virtues to see movement, and they wept. For the first time, soul stung. Let the record show. I have dreams that get stuck in ceiling fan motors, behind stoves, laying soft on shoeboxes. My dreams are the ancestors of MLK's progeny. Think God letting folks in on his TOL plan before he imbibed on the up and the down, the light and the dark. Here, Stevie and Donnie are the sons of Nat King Cole. And Nat's house wafts with their soul mess. So much so, they all snore like it's Sunday church moaning in perfect pitch, in three-man harmony, and grumble when one man misses a snore note. Like any father with sons, Daddy Nat rises, plays break-fast chordations. Donnie orchestrates honey note notes by noon. Stevie puts all the allegros on plates. By dinner, there's a lot of red light rumbling in that rickety house on a corner of Up All Night and 2 more sets. The KISS principle, if it's love. Well, I'm from Motown, the default. The soundtrack to our breathing, mobs of feet buckling Midwestern pavement, a thunderous tapping in time, hitting scales, pushing buttons, pressing tool and die mechanisms to expand the industry and definition that motor and city in love with Holland, Dozier Holland, Smokey, Whitfield, and the Funk Brothers, the root in Motown sound. Most won't know Tamla a sister born before Motown, and how Stevie experimented with her kisses, loving a superwoman, first part-time lover in Hitsville, USA, impregnated America with 10 top 10 hits a year. From 61 through 71, Gordy had Detroit cars cranked from cities to suburbs, from suburbs to county roads, a golden time when jobs and innovation copulated, eloped, birthed tomorrows, boys named Buick, girls named Chevrolet. The family was the work, hands blending music with 3 tricks, the smell of America's apple blossom, mama calling babies to breakfast, papa placing a hand on mama's butt, her reply, a kiss saying, "We got this." Back then, loops of gossamer connect the ear's canal to the heart's aorta by using voices melding cold steel with the patina of our sweet supremes, Aretha, Temptations, and Wonder, cruising with us, talking to our souls about cleaning off gummy ache of day with hot shower. How art's cooling breezes caress our upbeat faces, smudged with the raw oils linked to wars that will speed bump and break our stride. A perspective that sometimes isn't seen. So this is Scott Van Duzer remembers Nana before hugging Obama. This is the pain-riddled unbending, unfolding of the crinkles to get to inked words on a crumpled page, retrieved from a trash can where my way or the highway gets retrofitted in the garden of the mind once held by weedlings. Things are nipped to the track beds. Some cuts so close red rivers bleed out their blue veins. The care of caring blooms like wisteria, pronouncing how God's deeds are violet for us, where we can view the true opening of a flower's bulbs. How sun rays vibrate her warm voice, the blowing of caress onto you who want your grandmother to grab and pull you into the earth for her breasts, except the hands that de-weed the weeds, that gardening of her grandson to no unforgiving love grips can crumble dirt clods into forgiveness. Poetries. Not until you sleep on a futon in a New York apartment with an ex-con who's had poetry beat him down in a cell of Etheridge nightmares does forgiveness metastasize. Not until you accept the gift of hospitality from lesbian with Mother Teresa hands, break hot bread of God willing, can you kiss up on Audre Lorde's poetics. Not until the buzz of corner thugs who share airwaves, drunk on dialectics, all born again from the funky duende of concrete street life slapping against university canon, is when you, poet, hone the Jesus of yourself, fight for the only name you own, called the beat down to quench the dry throat of reputation, letting your every line own its mule, your swagger salivating, your brainstem thirsty. Poaz. That's poetry and jazz put together.
Poaz.
What is that called?
Don't think about it.
I'm not going to think about it. The longest one ever feels, Tallahatchie deep. Wet notes stretching to silty shore. The always drowning, the always death of anything. The song's breathing. Can we bend into each other's border, find how two become us, lose it all on a wind? You who hovered the other side of Oval Office door, you who sat in dustless silence, waiting for Air Force One's tires to touch earth, you who served quail and white truffle sauce and clean scotch with milk for a president's sour stomach. You who stayed up past midnight to give hot chocolate to a child of a president who saw you as the other, when all you were doing was to work, wanting to make your Helene blush when embraced. How you owned each little step to striving. You knew the glib falsehood of the left and the right, so circumvented back to kings standing in corridor of that hallowed white building. The Reverend taught you into compliments, like soothing handmade rosaries to poke pockets. You grabbed the beads in your mind, like petals from Godiva chocolate roses, kissing your tongue. You own the voices of the men and the women who burn or bomb all ears, but you only listen to the voice of comfort, the one in the frontier of your heart. For you, there is how to trace the hand over arcing heart murmurs, like a tired head circles pillow, looking for a clearing. The best housewarming gift was the lane. 65 years of her voice, the jasmine of her propulsion, cloaking you from one threshold to the next. In your head, she resides in the promise she made after her voice stopped ricocheting walls of your house. Before enrolling into mourning, you mouthed Helene. Kiss wall, she painted aqua, head out for 1600 Pennsylvania to shake hands with first brown-faced president. He will welcome you back. You will cry for Helene. So this is called Throwdown, Reflection on Fighting, and this was before, because this past Olympics was the first time you had women boxers recognized. And so this is from the boxer's perspective. The little girl's beast, growling behind grown woman's eyes on laminated promos, where my scarred fists are boom and bam, an alternative position, taped in white reinforcement, so I don't leak out. How the fight in me is bound by leather. Now I control all the buttons on this. Relinquish all piss and pain and incremental puffs of combinations and fast feet. When babyish and sweet, I confuse fighting with passion. But it's the passion when fighting that's my fate. My reason for mixing daydream pink with pit bull black. In my eyes, a blood-soaked boxing ring in London Olympics. In my eyes, an MD framed in cherry wood, never dusted. In my eyes, the blue light, the feline cat death. My want wobbling my body like a puppeteer. The indispensable need to walk through fire and not detonate as the blue flame wraps round my hard shell, because I was born with the insatiable satisfaction. I am my papa's discontent, my mama's distress, my brother's disillusion, but somehow still me. To be the brawler and the cover girl, to own the gorgeous anger of all my faces, and to live and love all the black eyes of the rights I cross. He started morning with push-ups, tonguing gold mouthpiece 50 times in succession, all evil in him washing up against the round surf of his big canine eyes, where one tear hesitates. Miles plays to conceptualize this new day. He tempers scales, players for forgiveness to women he held captive to the madness of his confliction, beauty. His will now, translating sacred Paris notes to his lone prayer, God, please save the fool. Hate was locked up in a historic key. A door stayed shut while he was so blue he sit outside of it, transcribing small intel God gave him, itty-bitty illuminations, how to breathe, what to smell, who owned the sun. His anger would escalator down, erode, a gird, to rumble above or throughout his groin, remind him how the basest pulse was hot throb back in hard cotton fields, back to 2 migrations north, back to grandmother's motherland. He plays with what to sport in front of the Lincoln Memorial. How soup will pop, clash, blend into harsh marble. Horns screaming at birds, trains, all walking life. They will say, you are flash and pen and have been talking ish since the Sugar Hill game. Old school fool. They say you're loud, angry when bumping, and we can't understand your words. The rule to code switching is to switch codes. You must trust odd prophets spreading good news. It's true, Shantae, Latifah, Salt and Pepper fuss that their disease can be saved with a pill. Malcolm used out, don't know if I could start a riot, but I don't know if I would stop one. They say rap lingo burns hard. Pimp, bitch, hoe, are art and women abused and splayed like hot meat on a barbecue must-eat Sunday when just hanging with crew. Your crew can understand to a point with mess that's on BET and MTV. Folk might hear small requiem side of myth, a dead-end corner slinging broke-back beats, not the pissed off to all festivity of Chuck D's third eye. They want glamour's rise, and beasties not illing now. Streets got peeps who graduated Hollis, rock it like this, who got Harvard degrees and putting it on you. The hot playlist so wicked, spinning butt lick flick jams that's cold dissing KRS-One and Bambaata's magic. Just getting hip to old school, think Common on New Kid, but he dressed up son of Run. All sons of Run jam it within hot rim shots like Khalid. Beg for sunbeams to line our foreheads. Ziggy Marley, Jah love him. Singing jaunty from death boxes of pine, feeds us hearty refrains. Now Jill Scott trusts. Lauryn Hill trusts too. Got crazy love for set-free minds, while Hype Most Def marches us beyond bouncing black booties, airtime whores for glitz, butts, status, back into what is hip-hop, where the roots sleep and funk up purity through drums, bass, and horns. All this so Angie Stone can cold blend world's corruptions through melody. Naysayers say this-ish, that-ish. We so hot, go straight remix.